So my word that I kept missing was pen.
And
Gum, I'm standing there, sitting there looking at one and I can't remember. So they make you feel so, you start kind of questioning yourself, am I okay?
well, do we have a quorum? How many people do we have?
Not seven.
Yeah, I don't see anyone else yet. Yes, a total of 7.
What's quorum for?
4, yes.
Could we just like talk about things but not make decisions on things?
Well, we've been doing a good job.
You know, we do that. Yeah, we do that a lot, don't we?
Yeah, I asked Shanna if we could do that, and she said as long as we're not voting on something that is, something that requires a vote.
Right.
We can make some decisions on, you know, if we want to do something for the fall and kind of get some ideas and get moving on some activities.
Right.
But any type of thing that requires approval of a document or a change of policy or officer or all those type of things, yes. we
That
could
makes
not.
sense.
Yeah.
We just need to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We usually have fun when we're here.
Have you heard from anybody else?
Carrie Dodd replied that she could be here. Adrian cannot, she's out of town. And then Linda just emailed, she thought she'd be able to be here, but she came down with a bad kind of headache migraine. So she's not going to be able to make it. I've not heard from Taylor. Hopefully Carrie will join in here. I think she's the one that maybe her job kind of pushes her to the 6 o'clock time, but not.
I can't
fix her.
remember. Does she usually come in on Zoom?
Yes, yes. Yeah. You want to give her a couple minutes, or it's up to you, or if you don't have anything. I guess we couldn't vote on minutes.
No. I'm really, I don't see that anything in the new business can't wait until next month, I don't think.
Yes, those.
Because
yes.
we're talking about committees for next year, and did anybody look at the tree, what's it called? Thing on, the tree?
The tree mix.
Oh, the
software
tree-
thing.
Yeah, the software.
I did.
Oh, I did. It's cool.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was worried about my
No,
medical.
You had a month.
Well, I
Don't tell
worry,
me you forgot. I'll tell your doctor.
I worry a lot ahead of time. I have a lot behind anxiety.
No, it is pretty cool. I mean, you can see, and I know that what the public sees isn't the full, but, you know, you can zoom into certain areas and see what kind of tree it is.
Oh, that's so neat.
And, yeah, tells you what I don't know how you update the diameter. I mean, because that's gonna change every year, right? Does it automatically
That is it.
assume that it's gonna grow, or?
I think you have to update it. I want to say that there's something that says, like, there's a category you can select how big it will grow eventually.
Yeah.
But I inputted some trees a couple of weeks ago. I don't really recall seeing like a growth cycle.
Yeah, or anything like that.
Yeah.
That was. In 1 year, it's probably not gonna make any difference, but if we expect it to be valid in the years to come. So that's a lot of trees to update it.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah, but maybe that's something that can be tweaked. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought the idea of taking 1/5 every year to update
Yeah.
your inventory
Yeah.
was a good idea. So it wasn't so
Overwhelming.
overwhelming
Yeah.
every 5 years of doing it all.
'Cause I can't remember now how many trees there are. There are how many thousand?
27,
Oh,
about a little bit under 3,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right around
Yeah.
3,000.
I think they're a little over 3,000.
that's pretty amazing. really, so thank God.
Yeah. And the tree that they planted in my yard last fall, is
the
out
fall.
there.
Yeah.
What kind was it?
It was,
Okay.
it was some kind of oak.
There were a lot of oaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's that one that has a real funny name, like it sounds like it's in the swamp or something. It's
Yeah.
got, I forget what
I think that's good.
it's real pretty. I've seen pictures of it.
Okay, yeah, we can just go through, I've got some things just kind of mentioned, but I think really tonight, if we want to focus on just being able to get something on the books and scheduled for us to be eligible for the tree, City USA for 2021, I think that would be great. So, but I would like to, if Carol, if you want to go ahead and you run the meeting again, you've done such a wonderful
Well,
job.
I mean, I can't officially, but, I mean, it's not a meeting, right?
Shanna said that we could, got confirmation from Jeff that we can kind of run the meeting and talk about,
Okay,
just, yeah.
okay, so we will begin our meeting of the Urban Forestry Committee for July 15th, and do we need to take a roll call?
You can do that and then you
Then we
can
can
confirm that
record
we
who's
have.
here, yeah,
Yeah.
you want to just state your name?
Julia?
Carol Hannah?
Schnellsville.
And I'll just make note that.
Okay, yeah, so we are not gonna tackle the minutes from the previous meeting, but we'll talk about our old business, our 2021 Tree City USA goals, if you would like.
First of all, I'd like to introduce Hannah Oransky, if you have not had a chance to meet her. She is the new planning and zoning administrator, so she's taking over Kayla's position. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. She moved here from Cincinnati, and she's been here a couple months now, right? I think. Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah. So she is here to observe and watch and learn, and then she'll be helping the committee and overseeing that going forward. So be here tonight.
Do you live in town?
I live in Fort Bend.
Okay.
I love that. I love what they've done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very nice.
I like it.
It's beautiful
Do you
area.
have ties to this area, or what attracted you to Hamilton?
I mean, it's not far from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And my family, besides my parents, are all up in South Bend,
Okay.
so it's closer to them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can remember her name.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. I think you should be able to.
And now, what was her last name?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Urbanski, yeah.
Okay.
See, I never even caught the hand part.
Yeah. I think we had second. We will, so yeah, we'll just move to table those minutes for next month. I did want to announce that the Community and Urban Forestry Grant was closed out by the deadline. So everything has been approved. We got confirmation that the request for funds and all the documentation has met the requirements. So we should be getting a check for a little bit over $10,700, which that satisfies the remaining amount of the 20,000.
Yeah.
Because they paid out that 9,200 earlier, and then, yeah, so they'll pay off the rest. We'll probably see that in August of 2021 because of how their calendar ends in June, and then they start that next fiscal year in July. So that was good news to hear, and we just want to thank everyone again for all the hard work with DNR, the staff there, Data Resource Group, South Madison Community Foundation for their support in this project, which was a huge amount. Falls Park also contributed, and then just the team at the street department were wonderful, and then just the planning project team. As far as, we'll talk about this, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and just kind of briefly mention the 2021 Tree City USA goals, and then we'll just come back to it to talk a little bit more about it at the end. But if you're okay with moving forward, I'll just kind of give you the information real quick and then we'll do some planning and then enjoy the rest of your evening. As far as the requirement, the main requirement, we got to make sure that we get in to be eligible for that 2021 Tree City USA's. We need to celebrate, have some observance for the Arbor Day. Unfortunately, they give flexibility to that. It doesn't have to be on or near Arbor Day. We can do it in the fall or any time of the year, just so long as we have completed some sort of tree planting project before we apply for it. And that will take place in December of 2021. We have to plant just a minimum of 1 tree. So if we can do that, that's all that is required. I
was gonna say, I feel like, I think we talked about doing it in conjunction with one of the schools. And I just wonder if Mr. Schill, since he's in town here, would be interested in just helping coordinate that and let the kids. You want to? Okay, don't you think that's a good idea? And just see if he'd like to, you know, I don't know how he would do that with the school if they ever got.
will tell his parents this is what we're doing.
Okay.
He's always been so helpful.
Yeah, and
nice.
you know, he could pick where we plant the tree and let the kids be involved with it. If that's okay with everyone else, I think that
They do have a garden club, so we probably will Maryland.
we'll let Marilyn do it.
Yeah.
That would be great. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
that,
we'll do that. And we'll
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I know Linda had brought up, her vote was to do a tree planting for Franklin Street, but I did confirm with Scott. He said that they will not be ready for that this fall. It's supposed to wrap up the end of October, but he said if it goes over a little bit, we really need to have the trees in the ground by the second week of November. And so he thought it'd be perfect if we wanted to do something in the spring and have a big kind of community
so we could do
planting.
that for next
for
year.
that.
Yeah, that could be, yeah, that's a good idea.
Do that, and then
So Julie knows then, what's the right time frame for planting this fall then? Like,
we would, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna, so when she talks to him,
Oh, okay, yes.
give him an
We
idea.
would want to focus on between September and the second week of November. We really want to get out of that high heat month of August.
Yeah.
So then that way we don't have to put a lot of stress on either the school or our department, the street guys to have to water.
Yeah.
They just seem to do a lot better if we can wait.
But you know,
until-
maybe some of the kids would help with the water.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Probably too, might want, I think school starts August the 5th. Does that sound right? So maybe to give them a few weeks in there at least to kind of rally some
So
kids.
really,
that would be
anytime in October would probably be a good time,
Mhm. Yeah,
or late September or.
Yeah.
Or October.
yeah, okay, yeah. Do you want to, I think if you want, we can kind of pause and, I mean, not pause, but I mean, we can go ahead and just talk about that. And then I'll just finish up the press later. You want to do that while we're, okay. So if we do that, what we were thinking is as far as the tree itself, you can let Eric know this as well. I mean, unless we get a donor of a tree, it could be something different, but the town can take care of the cost of the tree. The town, we can get coordinated with the street department to get that tree picked up. And then, you know, we'll pay for it out of the fund. We've got a couple of options that they can work with funding there. And then also too, let him know that we could probably get our guys to come in and dig the hole. They've dug 60 of them. I mean, they use some special equipment on that, but we can make sure we get a caliber that's small enough where they don't have to rent out an auger. And so then that way we can go ahead and prepare the ground and then kind of get it set up and then bring the tree in, have that delivered, because they'll probably have to have a bobcat, you know, a skid steer to do that. And then, but then we can have the kids there to kind of help, once it's in the ground, put the dirt back on it and put the mulch on it and water it. So, we can look at. I think probably we'll hear, Julia, if you want to get back with us and let us know what you find out, and we can send out a group email on, what he thinks is a good time for it. And if it falls after our August meeting, then that might be a good time.
Well,
And then
we
we'll
want it
have
to-
that
we want it to
meeting
be
just to
after
kind of plan.
August. Yeah, we want it to be
So we'll-
September anyway.
Okay, so we'll just present that information at the August meeting, and that sound good? Yeah, okay. As far as tree species, do you want to leave that up to Eric to make that decision? Do you want to have some input on what type of tree? And like the tulip tree is a state tree, or if there's certain tree that he would be interested
It
in?
probably depends on where it's gonna be planted too. We'll have to decide, if it needs to be a smaller tree or ornamental or a bigger shade tree or. Last time, I think they did that, they planted it out there in front of the building, in front of South, I think. It's been a while, but I think that's where.
So we could use this, as long as it falls within this trees.
And we have flexibility with that. That is a general guideline that is given to the community so they have something to work with. But as long as it is a native tree, improved tree by DNR, we can plant something that is not on that list. But if you want to give them a copy, I can give you an extra copy and you can kind of look at that.
Here.
Yeah.
There's probably one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him know we'll likely get a burlap tree. Those trees are a little bit more sturdy. They just have a more mature look to it, so probably give a little bit more excitement probably to the kids than a smaller container.
Yeah.
Containerized tree. Since it's just one, get that coordinated.
Maybe we could even do some kind of little handouts for the kids. I don't recommend do what we did it 2 or 3 years ago. Linda and I went down to the state nursery and we ordered little trees, we thought they were gonna be little. They were kind of really big. Not big around, but like big, and so they took them back into the classroom and were
So we're
hitting each other, and then they were on the school bus with them.
Everybody got a tree?
We were not popular with teachers.
Everybody got a tree?
All the kids in a
Oh,
certain
no,
grade,
no,
it was
no.
a certain grade, I think.
We'll let Eric kind of figure
So
out. what
I'm
he
thinking
wants to
of
do.
just a little sticker or something.
Yeah, maybe, a tree sticker, that'd be nice.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't cost very much, but they would kind of like,
Yeah, well, and I was thinking too.
pencils, something,
Yeah, yeah. I think too that if we do some type of educational piece to it and a little bit of engagement, whether it's school, community or whatnot, then that would put us more eligible for that growth award.
Right.
So if we do want to utilize that same event and add a little extra layer to it, then, some type of education we can give.
He might have a teacher that's interested in kind of helping with that too.
They'll probably push it off on her.
That's her thing. Well, yeah, and she'd love,
Yeah, he'd probably make it open just for the garden club
kids, yeah.
and say, hey, Marilyn.
But that's perfect.
Maybe it could be back there in the back where they have their little garden, their little
Their
greenhouse.
greenhouse.
I don't know what's back there right now, but back there for a long time.
They'll be.
Yeah.
We'll give them as much freedom to decide how they do it. That's kind of.
John will be in the other buildings, this is the 2 buildings.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, so maybe even maybe there's this. Like in front of the parking where the bus is kind of center parking.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Kind of like the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so Julia, if you don't mind, and then just keep in touch, with us, and then we'll just plan on announcing that, at the August meeting, and then, yeah, we'll get it, and then as many of, members, can come, and maybe we can even have some of the town staff come and be a part of it. That would be, yeah. Cool. Yeah, thank you. So that pretty much kind of wraps up, that whole section. Unless, is there anything else?
What's this proclamation? Is that just like? Here ye.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking that's one thing that I'm gonna get with Shanna on and Jeff, and just see that and look in the past, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming that we've had to do this. So I don't know if there's some little official, they made a proclamation as far as Pendleton Day. It was like a little write-up that town council would sign. So I don't know if there is an official thing, so I do need to.
I think I've got, I'll look through some of my paperwork and see. I remember the
Well,
proclamation.
we'll let Julia read it at the tree planting.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's the
Exactly. Sounds good. Yeah, okay. We'll do some digging on that. Let's see. Okay. Cool. Really then the only other thing is that there was recommendation that we were given by Data Resource Group, and they've kind of been our consultant with the tree program. One of the documents that I printed for you, because I know some don't have access to Google Drive. Carol, was yours corrected? Were you able to get in? Because I went and I added your
Well,
email.
now,
on
you know
it.
what? I can't remember the last time I looked, so
Okay.
let me check.
Yeah,
again.
check that
Okay.
and see, because your other email was in there instead
Okay.
of the.
Okay.
But the manual, it needs to be recommended to be updated every 5 years. So we're right at that 5-year mark. And so Data Resource had done that manual. I don't know if it's something where between the board, now that it's something that is established, and planning staff that we can kind of go through, and what Hannah and I talked about was kind of making sure that it mirrors and it complements our unified development ordinance that's coming up, and if there's any street standards or landscaping requirements and so forth, if there's anything in there, we want to make sure that that meshes with this plan. So we'll kind of be looking at that over the next few months, and then coming back and bringing you this, but we want you, if you have time to, kind of look over it, get a little familiar with it. If you see anything that you think that needs to be switched or changed, updated.
Yeah, especially
Highlight
this vision, this right of way, because I know there's a big section in the, about that to make sure we're planting trees and not gonna
Yeah, line of sight.
line of vision. Yeah.
The access control.
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we definitely would like to get that updated. And then that second document is that approval of the trees that we have set. I was sent, let me try to make a note of it. DNR, when we were selecting our species for those 60 trees this past spring, they sent some resources of additional trees that were approved. So like there's like 100 trees for Indiana that we can base our selection on. I think it might have been Fishers or some other surrounding areas that they had small, medium, and large tree lists that they sent. So I'll just send those out to you all, and in the next few months, if you want to kind of look at that and see, which ones do we want to add. I think that the two focuses, it seemed to be that the native trees on our list of approval was very limited. So I think we need to add some more of those. And then also the other part was just to make sure that what we do add promotes or, improves our diversity that we currently have in our inventory. So, and then that would just be kind
No
of
maples, right?
no maples. Yes, I think we were 25 or something on that.
Yeah.
And we don't want to exceed 10% of any tree in the area. Try to keep it down to 10%. I guess some communities even stick with 5%, but that's sometimes a little bit hard, especially for for neighborhoods and towns that have been established for years, so, yeah.
Do we have a way to mark any that we would prefer that, well, we shouldn't even have them on the list if we already have a high enough percentage of them.
Yeah, you have that flexibility. If you want to keep that off the list, absolutely. That's your document.
These are just suggestions
Yeah.
anyway,
Mhm.
but I'd rather, if there's some that we have a high percentage of, I'd rather just go ahead and take it off the list and
Yeah.
then not put it as an unapproved
Yeah.
tree, but just not mention it.
That might be an easy way to start diversifying.
Yeah,
a little bit,
just- yeah,
but, you know.
Because if someone sees it, they're gonna think, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we have enough information to do that? Do I have to get on the tree inventory?
Oh,
And calculate it?
And I really, and two, we can get, I know that the 60 trees this past spring, and then those that were planted, the 300 trees last fall, are not in on her report. So, we can check with Karen Flint to see if that's something that she can create a percentage, or, kind of help.
Especially
walk
if there's
us
one
through.
that's just way out of, like if there's a maple that's just way out of line. I mean, let's take it off the list and not.
I think the red buds were on there as well, and they were high, but they're no longer as bad just because we had all those at Heritage Way that have been removed.
I think she brought that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last week, but yeah. Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's, your packet, to, what you would like, to see for the community, and that's what we can do.
And those percentages are just going to be for trees that are planted in the town right of ways.
Yes, and town property.
Yeah, town properties, but that still, I think, is an indication probably of, I would think, kind of overall, I mean,
So park and,
park and golf course and,
Cemetery.
cemetery,
And all the right of ways. Sports complex, so, yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Carol, because, you still, any homeowner can plant whatever type of tree that they like to have on their property, outside of that right of way. So if they really are just adamant to have a particular tree, we can't keep them from doing that, but the ones that we're responsible for caring for and affects our streets and what type of, if there's a certain fruit or a certain, dropping, nuts and stuff, there's certain things that we want to kind of stay away from.
when we, and this has been lots of years ago, we decided that we were gonna plant, London planes, which are kind of like a sycamore in a way, and ginkgos, but just the male ginkgos. Well, because the female ginkgos, they get this real stinky smelling
I didn't know that.
fruit or something, whatever it is. Anyway, somehow, so we specifically ordered male ginkgos. Well, we put in a couple of female ginkgos.
There's a way to tell without
I
having
don't-
that scent.
I mean,
They're like, is it
I guess when they
something-
start bearing their fruit, then you're thinking,
The nursery
oh
should
no,
know,
they're
but.
females.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had some not real happy people, and I don't blame them because I guess it was really smelling and everything, so we took, I think they took a couple of them down and replanted them. So we have to be sure, check out all those kind of little weird things that you don't even think about, but, female ginkgos, definitely.
Well, yeah, they've got that on the list of do not plant.
Yeah.
That's good. Yes. There was actually a property owner that they had interest in being a part of our spring project, and they wanted a ginkgo, the male, but they wanted it in the right of way. And we won, we couldn't plant it. The ginkgo was not an approved list for a project, this particular project. But all also, more importantly, they said that I guess it's a very large tree.
Yeah, they get it.
And I guess apparently, because then I explained to them that it was a large tree, we can't allow that tree in a right of way. And they said, we have ginkgos all down their road in the right of way. And,
Yeah, but
you know,
when
back
those,
then, didn't, you know,
yeah,
think
when
about
those were
things. And
planted, they were on the approved list, which it does change. I mean, but ginkgos are the oldest tree known to man. They have, the leaves are shaped, you can't mistake a ginkgo leaf when you see it. And they have, the imprints, you know, like in fossils and everything, of ginkgo leaves, so they're, yeah. So much for the female. But, you know, all those kind of things, you think you're doing the right thing, and then you investigate a little farther, and you think, oh, wait a minute, you know, maybe we have to do that, so.
yes, yeah. Definitely, one of the lots.
So is our consultant going to update this in addition to any comments we have? Or
Well, and that would be a decision on the, you know, count if we hire that out, or if we feel that we can do that, you know, internally. So I think that decision will need to be made here in the next couple months, and then that would.
Well, let's give us a chance to look through it and see what we think, because I would be surprised if too much changes.
Would that be with Davy again?
Yes, yeah. And it might even be something that where if we, you know, feel that we can come up with a draft and revision of it and then run that by her and get
And
her.
just get her, yeah.
Too sweet.
When is that, the updated, code for developments and everything, when's that gonna be done?
Well, I think after the public, is that part of the public forum, Denise? The
Are you talking about the UDO?
video?
Yeah, that, public hearing or workshop is on the 29th of this month.
And it's gotta go back to the planning.
Right, which will be on the 4th of August. So we're hoping to have that in place by end of August.
So that would probably work out, you know, time-wise pretty good, if that would be
I mean, I'm
Established.
operating like it's in
already.
It's, yeah,
As a
because
go.
and then we want to make everything consistent, or at least not conflict.
Right. So,
I mean, it's far enough along that I don't, if there's any tweaking that's gonna be done, it's not gonna be
nothing we mentioned.
much, you know. And I think it's out there on the website, isn't
It
it?
is. Yeah.
The whole, how many 1,000 pages if you want to read it?
I think it's about 240.
Of their budgets.
Yeah.
It's in two parts.
Oh,
They have to split it in two
Yeah,
to get it.
stupid.
Yeah, I wondered about that, yeah. Did anyone have any other questions or anything on that, the manual or the?
so is the manual something that you could email to the people that aren't, our members that aren't here?
Yes, I did earlier today, I
Oh,
sent out.
yes, you did.
I would say, I think, yeah,
And you said you're going to
Yeah.
print it out, so that's why you're not got it.
yeah, because I thought, oh, I'll do
Yeah.
that for the meeting and forget, so, just sent it. Oh, and then for the tree keeper, I know Hannah, she's doing a great job keeping up with the additions, you know, of the trees. She's plugged in all of those that, well, about a month ago, yeah, she got in those 60 trees. And then she had mentioned where you tell she was gonna get with Craig Switzer, he's our electric supervisor. and
Yeah, and if there's any trees that go up or come down, to contact me so I
Yeah.
can take it in or out of tree keeper.
And then Aaron Burris, two different.
Yeah.
offices.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Keep up with it.
And I think it would be cool to eventually move into those, the images, you know, if we, you know, have, you know, time, you know, this next year and encourage people to send a picture of your tree and we can upload that and, you know, people can see the tree and maybe even submit it as it grows, or, things like that. And then that memorial tree feature too. We could always do that if we don't go to the digital mapping. And then just the other two, these were just those conversations that had started when Rachel was here, the subcommittee formations for the Arbor Day committee, just to have a group that would be kind of ready and knowing that they were going to do this next year and kind of plan that. And then the memorial tree on whether or not we want to assist the park with that a little bit more, take over the program. But it definitely does that the log needs to be updated. That would be a good thing. And then if we do want to explore other tagging options instead of the current tags on the tree. And if you feel that this is something that you want to table for a while and not, worry about that until maybe another year or two, that's your decision. I mean, that's, whatever you guys want to.
I was talking to Carol after our last meeting, and I'd really be interested in the memorial tree committee, but I kind of like to see, after all the craziness dies down at the park, all the work they're having to do and everything, maybe in November or sometime when it's a little quieter. And I'd love, you would be involved in it since you were in charge of the memorial tree. Maybe get with Aaron and Donnie and see what they would like to see happen and how much they would like to see somebody else do, and then we could maybe
And then
just
bring that back to the team.
bring it
and
back
see
to
if we
the
can-
team
yeah.
and just see, I think that would be a great thing to get involved with, and I would imagine that Aaron and Donnie were probably as busy as they are. They probably want to be glad to hand it over. I know, when you worked there, I know you put a lot of time and effort into it. I know.
And it's a great program.
Oh, yeah.
The community loves it.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really is.
Well, and it'd be nice then to maybe have a committee, if you could do that and kind of say, okay, get their input, and then we could develop that committee
Right.
with our group, and
Yeah.
maybe find out, maybe one of them want to be on that committee too.
Yeah.
And then try to get it started the first part of next year.
Next year, yeah.
'Cause I don't want to keep pushing it off.
Oh, no, I think it's
Yeah,
something
I think
that's,
it's something we need to.
that's kind of what has happened back in the past. Sometimes it kind of got back
And
in
then,
the back, and then
Yeah.
it got out of control,
yeah,
as far as keeping updated on whose
But-
tree was
and I think
where.
if you guys can do a little legwork and then come back with some more maybe tangible tasks that need to be done. So I think sometimes our committee kind of like, we know we need to do something, but we kind of don't really know what to
Exactly.
do. And
Yeah.
So we don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, and then you walk out of the meeting and next month, say the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
You kind of get into that rut, and so I think if we had a definite idea of what is expected,
Kind of a
from
little
us,
outline,
and how we can help the park department.
Yeah.
I think we really be contributing a lot more than maybe sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Maybe November-ish or something.
November,
Yeah,
okay.
before Christmas.
Okay.
And then we have, the winter time.
So you can do planning.
Planning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then I'd like to do the same thing, I mean, maybe in our November meeting, put together an Arbor Day committee that knows next year, these are the people that are gonna be, I don't know how many, is our membership gonna change? I don't know who might be,
No, as far as up for, I can't remember who.
who might be.
I think I'm up for
But I don't
But-
think,
but
I
that
mean,
will
anyone who wants to be on it,
Yeah.
will, yeah.
Okay.
They will, to keep, so, yeah. So you thinking, then, would you we'll get something going with the park, say early November, so then that way we'll have a report to get back and then we'll
Yeah,
add it to the
that'd be
agenda.
nice,
We'll
to the
wait
agenda for November.
those two.
That would be nice, because we probably won't have a meeting in December, will we?
We usually don't.
Yeah.
Kind of falls right around Christmas. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and that would give, you know, Aaron and Donnie wouldn't be that as busy as they are now. And just sit down and, you know,
Yeah.
brainstorm.
And for the memorial program, it really does go quiet over the winter time.
Yeah.
You'll get a couple of inquiries and applications, but other than that, it's not very much, so, yeah. Sounds like a great plan. Anyone else have any questions or comments or?
What's the calendar marked up for?
Oh, that was for planning, just so you have a calendar in front of you for a date for the Arbor Day observance.
Oh, okay.
And the pink was highlighted for when we need to focus on planting. We want to wait till
Okay.
November for that.
September,
Or,
October. Gotcha.
yeah, so, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was the only reason why I had that out there, just in case we.
That's good though, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This brought to my attention, one of my friends told me that we had a gentleman here in town who's very well known, who passed away. And in lieu of flowers, they asked that they donate money to the park for trees. Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
It was, Saturdays.
Oh,
Yes, I mean,
yeah,
my friend had called me because he knew I had this meeting here.
yeah.
Scott Davis.
Shane's brother.
Okay, this isn't Scott Davis from the golf course. Scott Davis. Okay.
This, he
I
was
don't think he wasn't living in town here, was he?
Oh, okay.
I heard it.
Well, okay, yeah.
Okay.
But
Then
he's
it would
He's
be-
Shane's brother.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of unexpected. He's pretty young.
Yeah.
At the very, I mean, at the bottom of the obituaries, it always says, you know, in lieu of flowers, donate. It says, in lieu of flowers, memorial contributions can be made to Falls Park and Pendleton in memory of Scott to plant trees.
Okay. I've not heard about that.
So that's gonna go, that money will go into the park.
There is a memorial tree fund
Yeah.
there at the park, and so then they'll put
Well,
it in
maybe-
there.
maybe- Yeah, maybe that'll be part of. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody knew
Yeah.
anything about that. but-
No, I didn't, I saw it in the paper, but
And
I
I didn't even
but I
catch
didn't,
that part. of
I
it.
just
Yeah.
didn't see that
Well,
part.
the only reason my friend told me is because he calls us a tree club. I know you're in the tree
I'm
club.
a tree club.
That's what he calls us. I have a tree club meeting.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so I was like,
I never remember urban forestry. committee.
it sounds very official. Yes, I mean, essentially it is a tree club.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, hey, you're on tree club. Did you hear about this?
Tree club, I like that, tree club.
I said, I'm on what?
I'm sure they'll plant a tree in memory of
In
him,
memory.
and
Yes,
then if there's any
But they
excess
would
funds,
probably
then
get
it can.
more money than
over
just one
replacements.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone else have anything? A bunch of assignments to all the people that are here today. Put them on all the
Yeah.
committees.
Yeah.
I always like to pick on Linda, so.
Okay, well, I guess we'll officially close the meeting then. Thank everybody for being here.
Thank you for.
Someday we'll see Taylor, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll, like, try to reach out to him.
You know, I used to run into him around town and I never see him
I
now.
think he is so busy.
He must be.
He's probably meeting himself, coming and going. You know,